Hi, welcome to class. We're the only two right now, but the other ones will show up eventually, right? I hate my life. I hate my life.
And Professor Sunreis Productions!
Hello class, Professor Sunreis here. In today's class we're gonna talk about the German nationals. So, first of all, sorry I haven't uploaded in a few days. There was nationals, there was preparation for nationals, then I was feeling pretty fatigued yesterday. Yesterday I was feeling pretty fatigued. On Monday I had work. So overall it was been a pretty busy last half week or week even. So I'm sorry for no content, but I'm gonna give you my deck profile for the Brave Virtual list which I was running at Nationals. Everything went pretty well unless until the last 3 rounds. I was 0-2. In round 8 I got sacked by one Punk Brave deck, which I lost die roll and got combo twice, nothing to do there, no droplet, no dark. I drew a Dark Ruler, but I got anti-spelled. And then I bricked once against Sword Soul. I drew 2 to Draco back like 4 times in this tournament. Everything was okay. I was just slightly unlucky. It's okay. I can still go 0-2. Day 2 I will just like win every game and I will top right. No, in the last 3 matches, I'm not kidding to you guys, I drew virtual world names twice. One time I got rolled and then I actually won the grind game because of Mami Shenshen. And then on day 2 I was then 0-3 because I got timeout gamed by Long Juan. It happens. It is what it is. Then day 2, I kid you not, in 6 games I played, it's 6 games in 2 matches, I drew playable once. I played Brave Control for the whole day basically, which I'm like kind of tilted about that. I'm not gonna lie. I calculated the chance. There's a 50% chance of not seeing a virtual world, like 15 of 100, I don't fucking know. You guys, you can calculate it. It's very, very low that this actually happens. Anyways, I'm still going to give you the list. Overall, I would say the list performed quite well. It's just that my defensive cards were not up to par. I've got to figure out something there, or if I even want to play the deck anymore. I'm just going to get you into the deck profile. But before we get into that, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave some feedback down below. And let's get right into the profile. So here we are in the profile. Let's just get into it. I still decided to play the 40 card variant because of course we need to see our names. So for the Brave Virtual Engine, of course we maxed out on every single name because these are our starters and we need to see one of them. And if you don't see one, you are forced to play Brave Control if you even see the Brave cards. Yeah, I would not change a thing about that. I sided out one lady if I'm playing against an FTK sort of deck or like scythe blocking, whatever, just so that I have that one more defensive card. For extra virtual stuff, the one Neon, the engine requirements, I guess this is like still a good normal summon, of course. 3 Kowloon, this card is insane if you don't get anti-spelled. 2 Queen, and 2 Chuche. I still decided to play this minimalistic virtual engine. You could in theory play Desires, and I was testing Desires a little bit after the tournament because I was so tilted of not seeing virtual names. The thing about Desires is that it's only 2 cards which don't even guarantee you to see a name because you might as well still not draw one. And for these 2 cards, you scuff your whole deck, you play an extra trap which you really don't want or even need. Just brick-wise, of course, Janwu, if it stays in deck all the time, it's like an insane card. You play that extra Kringlong, which you really don't want to draw. You play an extra Neon, which you don't really want to draw as well. So it's overall, it just feels very weird to scuff your ratios of the main deck so hard and get rid of so many of your defensive card slots because you were still gonna break. The chance of seeing a virtual name is not actually that high. And if I break in this deck, I at least have a shit ton of hand traps, defensive cards, and Brave. And in other variants, you will probably break on like a Chucho and a Kringlong and stuff like that. So I'm like 99% sure I'm still gonna, if I still play Virtual after this tournament, which I'm not too sure about, I'm still gonna play it like this and still just fix my my defensive card lineup and hope for the best. Of course, Honorary Virtual 3 Teller, this was probably the best card of the tournament, just consistency-wise, and it being level 3 tuner for Brave Control is also really good to cycle through your deck and hopefully get into some virtual cards as soon as possible. For the Brave cards, 3 Enchantress, 1 Ride, 1 Fateful, of course. For the starters, you just need to see one of them. Even Fateful is fine. Going second, it gives you so much board-breaking presence, and going first is just an Omni Negate, plus a discard, which is like really good. Not an Omni Negate, but it gives you access to an Omni Negate if you have virtual cards. And then Griffin and Draco back. Griffin is a fine draw, of course. It being a level 7 gives you access to Baroness, which is the whole reason why you want to play this engine. It's just giving you an Omni Negate. Dracobag was stuck in my hand all the time. Not only did I not see a virtual name in like 7 out of 9 games, I did see Dracobag, I think 6 or 7 out of these 9 games as well. This card was glued to my hand. It completely sucks as, yeah, it is what it is. Afterwards, I would maybe even play a second ride. There was a lot of Droll running around. Still a fair bit amount of Flunder, but way less than I expected. And just having that second ride would have come in handy, just consistency-wise, just to have that extra Brave card, because I cannot maximize the amount of virtuals I play, but I can maximize the amount of Brave cards I play, so that I can even play Brave Control if I have to. So in the future, I'm probably gonna play one extra card of those and cut out one of the defensive cards, because they're not really that worth it. I'm like in a middle ground, but I'm gonna get to that. So for defensive cards, play 3 Droplet, of course, the God card, we just never saw it. We drew Ash all day tournament long, and I've never played against the Deathbeer, so this card was quite underperforming. I drew this plus perfectly playable hand, like an insane hand, like Kaloon, Double Name, Enchantress, Ash, against Punk Therion, and not Punk Therion, a Punk Brave, and I just got Scythe locked, and I can't do shit. 3 Imper, and 1 Called By. Called By is also kind of bad. Now with people are on Punk Therion probably as the deck to beat. Called By is not even a going second card anymore, so I'm probably gonna cut it or delegate it to the, or relegate it to the side deck, because the deck inherently plays through hand traps so well. Like Ash, you don't care about it. You only really care about the hand traps which you can't hit with this, apart from Droll. But Droll is probably not main deck worthy right now, just because Sword Soul is everywhere. And even then, it's not like a complete turn stopper. It just sucks, and you probably have to end on Chucha, Chen Pass or something. So I'm not too sure about this, and I definitely want to cut 1 or 2 cards of these. Probably just 1, fit in that extra ride, and then go for more of a board breaker game plan than like hand traps. Of course, stick the droplets, and then maybe switch out these for like clear board breakers, or just stick with, to them like that and hope for the best. It's really hard, because with 9 hand traps or like 10 hand traps or defensive card slots, you're like really in the middle ground of where you want to be. You could play 9 and then just go straight board breakers, or you could play 12 and you just play straight hand traps but no droplet. But it just feels weird to not play Droplet, because it's like the most insane card going second right now. And if you play 9 hand traps, it's just not enough, in my opinion, to get into the game consistently. Currently, I lost a shit ton of die rolls. This is mostly the reason why I didn't go 0-2 into the tournament, just because I lost so many die rolls. And then you get sacked because you don't draw the right cards. So I really gotta tinker with the deck list and see if you maybe still go for 10, don't do the extra ride and just go for 10 hand traps, no droplet, or if I go for more board breakers, more like droplet talents and stuff like that, and then post side put in the board breakers. It's really interesting right now. I am not too 100% sure what to do, but I of course will keep you guys updated, and you will know it here first of when I will have an amazing deck list for you guys available again. But this is still fine, of course. This still works, and I was, I think, the highest rated virtual player. And if you take into consideration that I probably should have got top 128 if I didn't get sacked by bad luck there, I think I was the highest rated. I had 1 mirror like later on, but I think he was behind me in the tables afterwards. So I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. For the extra deck, of course, we have the Beatrice, the God card. Not having a main deck card to send with this is totally fine, in my opinion. I was not expecting as many Sword Soul players as I have been, so I'm actually feeling quite confident to play Token Collector in the main deck again. But I haven't missed it, because the Endbird is strong enough. You don't need that extra big, so it's totally fine, in my opinion. Of course, if we go for more of a board breaker route, maybe play only like 3 droplets, like 3 Ash, because it's like generically so good, and that's it. You of course have space for stuff like a Snow or something, but I'm overall not too big of a fan of Snow itself, because it's so hard to get alive, because of the 7 cards banish is actually quite, steep for this deck. 1 down Dragster. I decided to play this into the extra deck over Yazi, because I haven't made Yazi in a long time. Then again, people are now more on Ghost Ogre, so going second in Yazi will come up a lot more times now, with people actually hitting the adventure. But I mainly put this in because I did not have as much against Despia as I wished in my side deck. So I figured I might as well put something into the extra deck to just enter 2 spell trap negates, one in the form of Baroness and one in Dawn Drexter. And that's really strong in theory. Actually, I haven't played against a single Despia the whole tournament, but I did make this once or twice as a generic boss monster or to play around the double evenly match of a Flowandereese player, ending on anti-spell, Dawn Drexter, Baroness, and Crystal Wing feels very good against Flowandereese because they basically have no way of outing that board unless they draw exactly triple evenly plus playable hand. Of course, I had a Chucha with that as well. So I still think it's worth to play this, but now with people more on Ogre, maybe, of course, this will show itself. It might be good to play the Yazi again, just because going second, it's so good to get the maximum value out of your Brave Engine with it. Lastly, one Changing. I still will play this. This is so important in grind games, which you, in theory, will get into a lot with this deck, just because it grinds so well. Then also to out problematic boss monsters. You can enter on this in a lot of scenarios. As just a very good toolbox card. Game 1, the first opening board I did was Chengying, Baroness, Shen, Crystal Wing Chucha, so you can enter on everything if you have it. I really like this card, I would not cut it. 1 Coral, 1 Charge Warrior to draw cards, of course, would never cut these. 1 Juju, you cannot cut this is way too integral for the combo, for the engine to function, just because it banishing 2 out of your graveyard is really good to get your Chuchas going, because once you're like in turn 3 and you make this, you have Chucha alive every turn, because the normal combo banishes 2 to 3 cards, and then by banishing these extra 2, you actually get into Chucha every turn, which is like crucial in the grind game. Same as Shen, the mommy, we love her, we hate her sometimes, but like every relationship, a lot of people have a tough time with their mothers, so of course it's only normal that you will have a tough time with the mommy sometimes as well. We will get over it, maybe we'll break up, who knows. 1 Sulkin, 1 Crystal Wing, kinda underwhelming, but I still think it's necessary. People are definitely now on the double hand trap train after this tournament, because it's the only thing which stops all of these dumb Brave Cyflock decks, or the Therian decks, and Punk, which just set up a negate early on, then you have like to have double hand trap to actually hurt them, and if it's like Ash Nip, Ash Vela or something, you might as well not even play through that, and Nip plus anything is like the only guarantee way to play currently in the format, unless you have Droplet or Dark Ruler. So yeah, this is feeling kind of underwhelming because it's 2 slots, but I still feel like it's necessary to play around Nip a lot of times, and it's still a solid disruption, as we don't tend to interact with monster effects too much unless we have exactly this, or like an Imperm or something. For the XEs, Breaksword, would never cast this, which was so strong. M7, this was underwhelming. I basically never made it because I did never go into grind games, and when I did go into grind games, I never played virtual, so there's nothing to get back, or not even a way to make this. But Breaksword is insane. I would never cut this. Fun, never played against Despia, so banishing out of the graveyard never really was too necessary, and I think I made this once or twice to OTK, just to get rid of something on the board. And then lastly, Gaia Charge Warrior, the king card to overlay these into Beatrice to trigger the Fateful Search is coming up a lot of times, and then 1 Zeus to end on meaningful disruption with all of these XEs. Yeah, the extra deck was fine, I would not change a thing about that. In hindsight, the Dawn Drexter was not as necessary because I never played against Despia, but then again, Despia was, I still think, the 3rd most highest represented deck, so it was just bad or good luck, however you want to see it. For the side deck, 2 Nips, sided this in a lot, never saw it. I would probably put it at 3 because Nip, a lot of people are saying Nip was the MVP and it overperformed high, not only in German nationals, but also like UK nationals, stuff like that. So I really would like a 3rd copy of that. 2 Crow, never saw Despia. These are like the substitute cards against Salad, which I played once against, which is like good. But then again, I have such a free Salad matchup, I don't really need a lot of meaningful side deck cards, and 3 Nip is probably enough. 1 Token Collector. Saw this once in the last round where everything was like this. With the last game I played, I had like playable hand actually. Would have died to 1 Ash, but I had playable hand. Plus Token Collector against Saltzel, but I got Chalice on the Token Collector, then drew Draco back for turn, and I couldn't play through Baroness Changing, Blackout plus Ash. I could have played through that if I had one extra name. It is what it is, guys. Bad luck happens. It doesn't give you anything to be too mad about it. I am still kind of mad, not gonna lie, but it is fine. It is fine. Yeah, Token Collector was very good. In theory, I never resolved it once because I think the people, if I sent it with Beatrice post turn 1, it didn't really matter because I had everything as well, and they couldn't really break my board. And going second, I just never saw it. Maybe you would play more of it, but probably not. Maybe you even put it back into the main deck, who knows. For this more side stuff, 3 anti-spell. Card was really good. It's even better if you don't brick and you don't brick your hand with it, which happened once to me. But in theory, I would still play this over D barrier because I don't have as much space for going first cards as a lot of the other decks. Because this is just way more generic, and especially generic because basically everyone is on Dark Ruler right now, and you just really want to have an art for that. More hate, reboot, never saw it, evenly saw it a few times. It was doing pretty good. I would still play it over Lightning Storm and stuff like that, just because it's so versatile into a lot of stuff. And even though it is kind of annoying to have this as your main backer out, and you usually decide to go first against backer just because your end board is really good against Eldritch, I still think you just play it. And then lastly, the most weird card of the tournament, Dark Ruler. In theory, this card is insane because it will let you play against so many decks, but in reality, people are just siding an anti-spell, and I kid you not, every time the opponent went first, they had anti-spell. So this card was kind of bad. I think the one time I actually resolved it and I just won the game of it. So I am not too sure if I'm on the route like, okay, if they have anti-spell plus combo, they have it, or I try to go for more of a hand trap route and stick to the 10 hand traps. I've really got to figure it out. Really got to see how the meta switches up. So yeah, take this with a grain of salt. I'm not too sure what to think about this card. I was getting anti-spell a lot more than you probably would have at a tournament. So I think the performance it had on me was worse than it had in general. So maybe it's still worth it to side deck. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. This might even be the last deck profile I will do with this deck, just because I don't know if I'm still gonna play this deck afterwards. I still hope you guys enjoy the content here on my channel. I'm sure you will love the next deck, which I might play. It might even still be virtual. I've tested a little bit, and I'm not really interested in a lot of decks. Like two big of weaknesses. I really like the versatility. Once you go into such a versatile engine as virtual, it's really hard to go back. I'm quite interested in Sun Avalon just because I would love to play Therians, and I feel like it's like the most consistent way to play Therians. Anyways, I hope you are here to stick with the journey with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave some feedback down below. Like I said, this class is dismissed. Professor Sunreis out. Peace. Mommy Shanshan, what do we do with you? There only was another deck which had an insane Floodgate boss monster, a Mystic Mind main deck out, and out against all of the other Floodgate monsters like Winder. Insane follow-up in 2, 3, 4 forms of follow-up, and, most importantly, it's not as bricky as people think. If there only was a deck like that, psh, hey babe, psh, everything will be good. I'm not saying I'm breaking up. Psh, everything is good. We just gotta find out if we can somehow fix your consistency and fix the defensive cards which fit into your deck. Trust me, I, Professor Sunreis, will do it. I love you, Mommy Shanshan.